Welcome to the double-digit episode of the Untitled Personal Podcast Project. I'm here with an excellent array of co-hosts. In this podcast, we talk a little bit about everything. We go through our social feed. We talk a little bit about a little controversial stuff, some more lighthearted stuff, and come up with a little community topic. Tonight's topic is Happy New Year's Eve. And we're joined today with Brian Parra returns. Brian, how's it going?
Good. Back again.
Back again? Why are you doing this to yourself?
You know, it's the only time during the week I get to talk to people that aren't my children or my wife.
I don't have kids. Now I need to have kids, so I have more than one person to talk to.
No, you don't.
Oh, wait, no, that's not how it works. Candace is also joining us. Candace was inside of our chat before we knew her outside of this, but welcome to the show, Candace.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's it. We are here to find a way to make you make an ass of yourself, because that's what we promised.
My anxiety is through the roof right now.
Awesome. Just know that thousands of people, upon millions of people, can potentially watch this video at some point.
Great.
Right on. And the next up is Fernando. Fernando's joining us here at the end of the year. How's it going, Mr. Fernie D?
Not bad. How you guys doing, all of you? Thank you for having me again, once and again.
Once and again.
I think this is like my third time.
Yeah. Well. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
And Megan cruising on down here. Megan with one website, please. Also, how's it going, Megan?
Great, fantastic. Happy to be back. It's great. I'm happy there's another woman here with me. So thank God.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Speaking of the women that are joining us, thank you, Candace, and also the other woman on the show is Sawyer. Thank you, Sawyer, for showing up.
Well,
welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure.
What a lovely lady he is.
I've been working on some laser hair removal. Have you guys seen the progress on the cheeks?
It's looking great, Sawyer.
You're
great.
looking amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That only a face the mother can love. So
not even her.
Not even her. Even she has opted out. So we've got a nice comfy array of people, and let's start off talking a little bit about what's going on in the news. I don't know if you guys know, but Bill Cosby got arrested. Woo! Yeah.
Yes.
Where's my audio thing? He got arrested, but then is $1 million bond that he pretty much paid right away. So
he's out. Pocket change. That's pocket change to him.
He just had to dig into the Jello pudding bond and pay that. Actually, I guess if it's $1 million, it's like $100,000. That's
exactly.
less for him. So.
Exactly.
Is anyone else excited? I mean, I'm not really excited. I think I'm more excited for like all the people that are like Hannibal Burresses of the world who are gonna now they get to be more well known because that's really the only way.
Right. But, I heard his lawyer say something like the charge is aggravated, indecent.
Oh. Yeah.
What's the charge?
Aggravated, indecent assault.
Assault. Right.
What is that?
Right. My first thought was his lawyers are saying he's going to be acquitted of it, and I was like, yeah, I agree. He should be acquitted of that because he's guilty of rape. You know what I mean? It's just like what are these charges? What do they mean? And whatever that watered down version of things is, yeah, I don't think that's what happened. There's something else. You know, they need to call it what it was.
Yeah, I when I heard about that, because at first I was listening to the radio, I didn't even know that it happened. It came on the radio, and they said he got arrested, and he's out on bail for $1 million bail, and I'm like, wow. And then they said it was 2004. I'm like, wow, that was 11 years ago. So okay, maybe there's something. And then they go in and talk about it as like he made advances, and they're saying, obviously, as he's saying with everything else, it was consensual, this and that. But that's such a weird thing. Aggravated indecent assault. It's like that's like if I yelled at you with my pants down.
So my life every day.
Okay, good. I'm glad you guys all laughed across the board because I was testing this out. I was testing the water a little bit.
I don't understand the problem with Bill Cosby is he was solidified in Americana. He was a figurehead in everybody's homes across America. He had money. He had power. He had women. And I don't understand what drives a man like that with everything to do such a heinous crime like this. I mean, I just don't understand it.
You mean a heinous crime such as aggravated indecent assault? No, no, but I know what you mean.
I'm going to go into it with my pants off. I don't expect the police to show up, okay? And I really don't expect you to call, a lawyer. I mean, come on, it's America.
Sometimes people just can't control their chocolate pudding pop. You know what I mean?
Wow, we are having a good time. Questions of others. No, but
are we talking about the psychology of it? I mean, clearly somebody in his position certainly has people that are interested in sex with him. He certainly could pay for any kind of sex that he wanted. What is it that says the kind of sex I want is unconsensual, passed out like druggies. You know what I mean? Like it's that.
I still feel
any other kind of sex was available to him.
He could have paid for a whore, slipped her a Mickey, and put his pudding pop anywhere he wanted, and it all would have worked out.
Yeah,
clearly you've never been to Singapore, mate.
Yeah. We're gonna find him strangled in a bathroom or a closet or something.
So I walked by his house. I was walking by his house.
That's dangerous.
Palisades. I know. There was no fences, nothing to keep me safe from his family. I was awkward. But I was walking by there and I noticed there was no attention, no media, no nothing. So apparently the people that live around him aren't affected by it. They aren't acting adversely to it. So I'm just wondering if everyone is getting the full piece of all the pictures, you know what I mean? Everything laid out in full for us. Because, I mean, we never know the full story either. So, and I'm not defending him, but I'm just being devil's advocate,
Yeah, as for me, I think it's a control thing. I mean, rape in general isn't about sex; it's about control anyway. At least that's what doctors say. So, I get that, and like you said, I mean, especially if you have money, it really does come down to because I can, like maybe even like borderline sociopathic kind of thing, where it's like because I can control. I want to control this or that, and as far as making advances, I don't know. I don't know. Like you said, I don't know the whole story. And unfortunately, when you say that, it often gets interpreted as being, well, we don't know, so, obviously, I don't know. People get angry either way. Either the I don't know leans toward the victim, or the I don't know leans toward the suspect, and it's a good way to piss off everybody on all sides of the coin.
What if like some of these women are like have you ever dated one of these women that are like they want to be like
so anyway, we're going to cut over back.
And here I was ready with an answer.
I know.
No, but go for it.
Well, I was going to say we've heard all the male opinions. What do the females have to say about it?
I mean, look, if you're going back to resort to someone who has a memory of 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and it all comes back now, whatever. But, with that said, if that really did happen to you, I would hope that someone would care enough to actually, do their due diligence and actually find out if that's true. But I don't really know about the people that come forward and, all of a sudden have a memory of being drugged and all that stuff. So I'm kind of in the middle, actually. So I'm like, I can see how if that really did happen to you and you remember it, like, absolutely, you should, be responsible for that. At the same time, I see the other side of that is if you come forward 10 years later, 15 years later, and you can remember everything, I can barely remember what happened yesterday, so, I mean, let's be real.
I don't even remember an hour ago.
Right, so I'm in the middle about that. Like, I do believe that some people that were truly, like, sexually assaulted absolutely come forward, remember it, but other people, I don't know. I'm torn.
One of the defenses I've heard of that is that unless you've been through it, then you can't really say anything, because sometimes people are just scared and don't come out with it until a lot of people have brought it up. But then there's always those people that are just doing it just to get famous.
Yeah, I mean, I won't deny that. I won't roll back comments about there being there's definitely there's got to be people that are tagging onto this, knowing that they're gonna eventually get something out of it, whether it be a book deal or notoriety or balloon boy status. They might even get some money out of it, but I won't deny that. And it's I constantly think about like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson got the biggest pass in this in a very a parallel nature for not child pornography, but for molestation charges and stuff. Yes, they did go to court and he was they didn't charge him. I don't believe they charged him for anything, but you just kind of wonder if there's any reprieve for Bill Cosby in the future. If maybe it would be. I mean, it wouldn't be in his best interest to plead guilty because he's almost dead anyway. So it's not like he's going to be alive long enough to be able to let society forgive him for what they think he did anyway. But you think about that, you think about O.J., you think about all these other people who got passes, and I kind of wonder if Bill Cosby would have afforded that, or if that pass isn't available in society today anymore anyway. I mean, not to get... I mean, you have your mass spectrum of like the social justice warriors on one end, where everything is the paternal society taking on holding back women. Then you see on the other side, you see that at what point do you draw the line where it's like, okay, I can forgive that? Could you forgive this if knowing or maybe even alleged that Bill Cosby is guilty of these? Do you think that there's any room for reprieve? Do any of you think that?
I don't think there's any room for him to be forgiven for a sex crime, but I think that beating an 80-year-old horse and parading him through the media just to smear the last few years of his name isn't exactly the right thing to do either. I don't know the guy personally. I don't know the story. I'm not for him. I'm not against him. But I know that at 80-something years old and as decrepit as he is he going to make it through the trial? I mean, is this our money as taxpayers going to waste? I mean, they know he's guilty. They know he's going to die. I say throw him in a jail cell and let him sit there and live out his last few days. Don't parade him around. Just get it over with. Nobody in 20 years is going to remember him. Pop culture, the way it recycles celebrities, he will be forgotten in a year.
You don't think there's going to be a Bill Cosby reboot show, like a Cosby Show reboot?
Well, maybe that's the point.
VH1.
I mean, I was going to say, if the crime he's up for now, he committed in what, 94? I see some mention of statute of limitations on the group chat, and I think that's the point. I mean, people like Janice Dickinson and people coming forward, reporting events 30 or years ago or 20 years ago, those aren't going to have an effect on his legal proceedings. I mean, that the stuff that's going to happen are things that we can prosecute. But I think the number of women, which magazine came out with a picture of every
with the blank
woman.
chair.
Yeah, and I think that's about destroying his legacy, and I don't think it's done merely in spite. It's done as a way of saying, hey, here's a person who used to have our respect, who used to be America's dad, the first black guy. And so it's like saying, hey, here's who this guy really is. We can't, as a society, continue to canonize this guy as some stand-up person. He played a persona on TV, and we all loved him. But the 30 or so women that came out, that wasn't about prosecuting him. It was about erasing the image so that way we didn't continue to hold him in some high esteem. And I don't think there's anything that those people who are reporting crimes from 30 years ago can do it illegal. But Bill Cosby is a he's a figurehead. You know what I mean?
Well, and not only for the TV show, but he's known to be the guy that says, kids, pull up your pants. Like he is. America's father is what the NPR segment was talking about. Like he's America's father, and this is what happened. And it's weird. I think it's weird that America. I wouldn't say being inherently racist, but it's just weird that that Bill Cosby, a black guy, is being considered America's father. And I think everyone got the pass in the same way that maybe Ben Carson gets that pass. He's kind of like the white black guy. Yes, I said it. But there's that. I think that thing kind of. It's weird how he built up that legacy, even given all these things that were going on while that show was aired.
I don't want to. I certainly have a response to that. I want to give somebody else if there's a response.
Well, one of the things Brian, I want to touch on, Brian, that you said in terms of all of these things coming in almost in a statute of limitations, and I know this that that the state will allow evidence of history of bad acts to corroborate whatever whatever he's being charged for. So that way, that there's like a series of events that have transpired that say, yeah, look at this history. It's up to the court whether to admit or dismiss that information. And I think that they're utilizing that in a form of admission to say, look, it's very likely and possible that these actions have transpired.
Well, and that's something that, to add on to what you're saying, and also Brian, is like, it seems as though, okay, so statute of limitations passed, it seems. I don't know if that is for all of them. There's something about maybe a few of them that they're in states that they don't have that or something like that. But the idea that, okay, well, since we can't get him from a legal standpoint, maybe in civil court, I'm sure they'll probably figure something out, but I think some people even gone for the defamation of character thing and stuff like that. So I think what people are doing now is it's just like, okay, let's just destroy the social idea of him and kind of tear that down and say, okay, well, remember these things that he's accused of, and I don't know. I guess in a way I'm kind of disconnected from the social followings. I don't know who's married to who. I don't know who's singing what song. I feel like that old guy who's like, what is that Katy Perry on the radio again? Like I feel like there's a part of me that goes, okay, well, there's that, and I don't know. Someone in our chat, my mom. Hi, Mom. She said, no, it is. She's asking us. She said, what about the Catholic priests, some of whom were also very old when the cases were discovered? That's a good point. It's that the kind of, here it is again. Now, okay, the Catholic Church was involved in this, and there still are some cases where they kind of not necessarily ignore it, but kind of intentionally back away from it or intentionally don't speak about it. And I don't know. It's rough. It's I don't know. I don't know how far forgiveness goes. There's some people who have done some really bad things to me in the past, and I've kind of shrugged it off. And I guess you can say that considered forgiveness. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if this case goes anywhere. I think we all kind of agree that it's kind of weird that that's what he's being charged with.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out, I think.
Yeah, regardless of forgiveness or not, I mean, that's to each his own. But forgiveness will not won't excuse him for the actions that he allegedly performed. He can say, everyone can say, oh, I forgive you, and because I forgive you, we'll just let it go.
Yeah, we'll write this one off.
Yeah.
Well, kind of moving on to something a little, not lighthearted, but Jeb Bush. Any Bush fans in here? Yeah? Wow, you guys don't speak up all at once. Apparently, he's canceling ads and he's transferring employees around, focusing on battleground states. I think he's going to hang into the end. He's got enough money to stay until the end. But it looks like seeing that he's canceling TV time to send staff into the field. I don't know. Do you think that he's going to bow out, or do you think he's going to go all the way to the bitter end? Ooh, silence. Crickets.
I think he might go to the end, but I think that he realizes his strategy now. I think that's what's happening. He realizes he has to go out there, get the troops, the public to join him, because it's not going to happen through the whole campaigning otherwise. I think that's what he realizes. So.
That's a really good point.
Can we address the elephant in the room on this subject?
Yes, you may. Please, Sawyer. Please, Sawyer.
Nobody cares about Jeb Bush. That's why. All he's doing is delaying the inevitable. He's going to move his stuff around, trying to get a grassroots movement going. But the key players are already in place. Jeb Bush, he's there. He's doing his thing. But he's kind of just like the fly in the room buzzing in your ear, and everybody's just swatting at him. And this is like,
Yeah,
you think he can stand up to Trump, and I'm not a Trump supporter, but I'm just saying, do you think he could stand up to Trump in a debate? My guy, Rand Paul, personal favorite, I think Rand Paul would eat him alive. I'm just saying, you've got year after year of Bush running in government. It's not even for the presidency. It's just because he's a Bush.
Well, they do say that that there's been a Bush. I think every time a Republican's won in the last 40 years, a Bush has been involved in some way or the other as either vice president or. I think he might end that legacy. I don't know. You don't. It's hard because again, as someone who's not always in tune, doesn't always have his finger on the pulse. I don't hear a lot about him unless he's doing poorly or unless he makes a fool out of himself. Whereas the other candidates, they make it their point to make fools out of themselves. It seems to get that attention, and it's really unfortunate that works here. Where
this
you can go
year is a mockery.
Yeah, you make a total ass out of yourself, and then you stand behind it, and everyone loves you for it. So it's that bad. The consistency in this country is that bad, where just because you say something stupid and then stand behind it, everyone supports you, and it's just weird. It's very weird. $3 million he saved by canceling these, and he's focusing all of it to getting people on the ground. 60 people. That's actually. I don't know. Like you said, Megan, that's a refreshing thing to hear because typically it's what I agree with is like no one cares. No one cares about Bush. They kind of rolled him out in the first place. Republicans ruled him out in the first place. They didn't want to continue the dynasty.
I feel like they had to put people up there. They were just like, okay, pick 3 idiots, stick them up there, so that it doesn't look like we have just 3 guys that are already gonna win. It's like when you're playing high school sports in gym class. They got to put you got to have a couple nerds in with the jocks, or it's an unfair thing. Jeb Bush is a nerd. Nobody cares.
Nerd.
Well, what I'll tell you, I mean, I'm a total lefty when it comes to this, but I'm a little distressed about that because I know that whoever is in the end, whatever Democrat and whatever Republican is at the end, history tells us that 45% of the vote is going to go one way and the other, and the actual deciding is going to be, within that last 4 or 5%. And then there's all sort of things like the Electoral College and voting irregularities and stuff that happens that can really swing from one way to the next. And while I support Bernie, and if Bernie isn't the Democratic nominee, I'll vote for Hillary. I would like to know that if whatever happens, we end up with a Republican in the White House for whatever reason. I'd like to know that the Republican is not just going to burn the place down. And Jeb Bush seems to me, he is a nerd. He is a nerd. But he seems to me to be a straight-ahead bureaucratic administrator. He's going to go in, he's going to work hard, and he doesn't seem to have the sort of touch of crazy that everybody else has. And so when he's out, I'm like, shit.
I gotta ask you something about touch of crazy. One question, because you mentioned my favorite girl in the world.
I'd like to welcome to the show I'd like to welcome Matt Meisenheimer. If you're watching this, we found a replacement for you today.
I love it. Go ahead.
Yeah, bring it, sir.
Here we go.
Yeah, as you get to know me, I'll definitely say what's on my mind. I'll try to be respectful.
No, we don't
like Hillary. Okay, well, I don't like Hillary for many reasons.
I agree.
I'm ex-military. If you haven't figured it out, I work in the firearms industry. I have a finger on that pulse. I'm always watching. My thing with Hillary is, up until the entirety of the Benghazi situation, I was never anti-Hillary. I was actually a big fan of Mr. Clinton himself as a president. Regardless of what people say about NAFTA and all that stuff, I saw the small business applications that it did open up. So that's another day, another story. But Hillary let a bunch of people that were American soldiers die in an embassy. And being as involved as I am, I can speak on the subject with 100% expertise that I know inside details of a lot of stuff. Not saying I'm a top-level fucking, whatever. but friends who are in and people that are in, they tell and they talk. And I can say that if there's any kind of question to the legitimacy of this woman's claims, why is she on the block for presidency? Why are we wondering? Like, you should be of outstanding character. Like, Bernie's cool. Go for Bernie, you know, that's great. But fucking burn Hillary at the stake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I have a response, and so I mean, I'd love to see Bernie up there.
He's okay.
However,
he's okay.
Yeah, and my response is that I think that this level of politics isn't about the individual, but the people who back. It's about the funding. It's about who donates. It's about the political machine that got that person there. And I like Bernie because I like what he says, and I know who's behind him, which is millions and millions of people, teachers, nurses, who are contributing $10 a piece to his campaign.
Okay, but would
the
you
reason,
put Charlie
hold on.
Manson
I'm not done.
in charge of the American Red Cross?
I'm not done yet. The reason I like Hillary is not because I like Hillary at all, and I would vote for Bernie any day. It's because I know how politics works, that the same people that were behind Hillary were the same people who were behind Bill, and I like Bill. So I know that she's got the same team, the same advisors, the same political backers, the same people funding her campaign. I'm getting the same team that got Bill into office, and I like Bill.
That
and that's
doesn't change character, and you have to have character in any position. And I don't care who you are. Like I said,
so.
you can put Charlie Manson in charge of the American Red Cross. Now he may have all the funding and all the backers in the world, but that's not going to change the core values of a person in charge. The checks and balances are a joke, and we all know it. You put a person in charge like that. And I'm just saying, like I said, not against Bernie, not against Democrats in general. I'm a libertarian, so I like to look down the center if that's even a way to look anymore. But with Hillary, man, I just cold-blooded murder and neglect, man. That's just a hard. You were talking about forgiveness. That's just one thing I can't forgive.
If we're gonna go, there you go.
Can I just chime in real quick?
You please.
If we're gonna go there, then check out if they're a joke. Then that explains why nothing has happened under the Obama administration. Like, they're there, so nothing is passed because checks and balances are in place. The Republican Party is in the majority. Nothing is passed. So if we're going to go there, then we're going to go, like, so.
Everybody tries to do good things and they get blocked by someone else for their own personal interests. That's the thing, and it's exactly what you're saying.
But I agree 100%. But like that's my point. Is like you can't go one way and then the other way extreme. So it's like you got to have a fine middle ground and like have someone who can actually move forward with these movements. Which I think honestly, like I agree with Brian. Like I agree that Bill was a great president. Hillary, I don't know. I'm kind of mixed about it as well. But like if she can have the expertise and like the have people back her and move forward with like movements, then why not?
I'm gonna go right back to the Bill Cosby thing. Bill Cosby puts on great midnight or late night shows. He's got all the backing in the world.
We're not gonna compare Hillary to Bill Clinton.
But it's a crime.
We're not doing this. No. There's no.
Well, no. Let me walk it back a bit though. Is that if I was when Bill Clinton was president, I was part of a super right-wing family. It was a super Christian family. We were raised to hate Bill and Hillary. I mean, there was a joke. It was like Bill and Hillary were in a helicopter flying over a poor neighborhood, and Bill says, "Hey, I have a good idea. Let's throw $1 out and make one person happy." And Hillary says, "Hey, let's throw $2 out and make 2 people happy." And then the pilot turns around and says, "Hey, let's throw you both out and make everyone happy." See, I mean, these are things but in the transition on the way, I kind of feel that I'm pulling some of that over. My thing is that I am saddened by the fact that if Bernie doesn't win the primary, a lot of people just won't vote. Because of how many people who come from a demographic that statistically don't vote very much anyway. I think that if Bernie loses that, people just won't vote. I can tell you honestly that I don't know if I would vote for Hillary Clinton. I realize that a vote not for any of the primary parties is a vote against maybe against both parties. But when less people vote, Republicans win. That's been shown.
True.
People see that.
This
So
is true.
I feel like you feel that's a bad thing. I feel like Republicans and Democrats are the same side or different sides of the same coin. You know, we've been arguing over Republicans, Democrats, and
and one person owns that coin, or like a few people own that coin. You know?
You know, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I stand by a lot of the principles that Rand Paul has talked about. Is much less covered in the media than a lot of people, but even before his election nonsense, you know, he's been a big watchdog in the government, and you know, affiliations with Republican and or Democratic, you know, I really am not 100% sure what anyone really is behind closed doors. I just know that before all this election stuff was coming on years in the past, you know, he's done a lot to pave the way for personal freedoms for people. So that's what I admire the most is the upholding of the Constitution and personal freedoms. And as a candidate, I feel that he's the one that best exemplifies what I personally.
Yeah, I always say because this usually comes up. We talk about which Republican candidate we would support, and I think out of all of them, I definitely lean toward Rand. My problem is that my problem is that he has to pander, and that kind of destroys it for me. And when he's very exactly. Like, you know, the Republicans, a lot of them think he's an isolationist. When at this point he's not. At this point he's like, yeah, we need to take care of ISIS. We need to go over there and solve someone else's problem. And so I feel that kind of walks back a lot of his previous comments about let them fight their own war, let them do their own thing. And I think he's buying into the whole. This is a huge assault on American and the American way, and therefore changing his stance on going over and solving other people's problems. I think he's pandering to voters.
In just the situation as well, though. You know, a year ago ISIS was a blip on the radar when he was saying it. Now they're attacking 3 hours away in northern, you know, in California here, and we just had a terrorism attack, you know, in our own state. Situations changed, man. Situations changed. Things have to happen.
Well, going over there. Well, I mean, we can't answer this because we're not the guys who we're not the boots on the ground, and we're also not the administrative folks who will never put boots on the ground themselves. But you know, we're going over there and obliterating ISIS. Like we went over there to go obliterate Saddam Hussein, and ISIS was created, which I think is funny. Because
we're gonna keep obliterating everyone. It's just
well, that's the thing. It's like we as Americans seem to we've been at war, as they always say. We've been at war since World War II, and it's something that is like it grows our economy. We use it to dig our way out, and all of that good stuff. So I don't know. I think obviously time will tell. We now have less than a year until the elections themselves, which is weird to talk about here because in other countries I think that you're only allowed to campaign for like 3 months. So it is weird. I don't know. Does anyone know anything about this cutoff? I saw a Bernie Sanders thing posting about like how there's a cutoff for the amount of money they're allowed to raise. Like they can't raise more money.
I agree with that.
I think I like the idea, and maybe you guys can chime in. I'm going to pick on you, Candace. But you know, there's propositions that go in talking about having candidates being publicly funded. It's funded by a fund that gives them a finite amount of money to spend on campaigning and stuff. I mean, getting money out of politics, I think we can all maybe agree that we need to do that, but does that really solve the problem? Is that really going to change anything?
Is that feasible?
Candace, what do you think?
Well, I don't know how much of an opinion I can get because I haven't really been keeping up with all the politics of this election. But I do think that we need to do something about somehow being able to get, or at least having it, either taking it out or having it monitored or something, something about the way that they're getting funded, because it's pretty obvious that a lot of the candidates get funded by these big corporations or, whoever, and then that's kind of what controls I don't know how to explain it. It's
Yeah,
kind of
no.
like that's that's who we're really voting
Makes
for.
sense.
Yeah, I think
corporation.
it does the whole Citizens United thing, and corporations are people too, and money is free speech, and that's a hard one. That's a really hard one because I understand both sides of the coin. I guess I mean if I want to support someone, that is my way of supporting them, but I don't know. Brian, what do you think? Do you think that money equates free speech? Is there ever any point where that should be hindered? Where I should be limited in the amount of way that I communicate my support with money? That's hard.
It's a really hard thing to say because I think that part of our values as an American is, hey, you own your money and you can do with it whatever you want. And so it sounds anti-American to say that if somebody owns something that they can't do what they want with it. You know what I mean? It feels wrong to us. It feels dirty. But on the other hand, if you want to talk about access, people having opportunities or people having the ability to do something, it's also wrong to say that just because you have more money that you can influence elections, and we all know that that's how it works, right? I mean, nobody believes that every single person is just deciding what they're deciding their true interests in voting with the candidate. I mean, that's not how elections work. I mean, if you go out and have vans everywhere driving old people to the polls so that way they get there and get home, you're going to get more votes than the other guy. If you have run more commercials, you're going to get more votes than the other guy. It's become a process where the person who can pay for the functionality of an election gets the most votes, and I don't know that that's right either. I don't. This is very complicated. I don't have a solution. I have issues on both sides because I don't want to say that somebody who has money can't spend it the way they want to because I believe that they have that right, but I also am very uncomfortable with the idea that you can just buy votes, and I think that that's what it's coming to. You can literally spend money to make sure you have the votes, and if you outspend the next guy, you get more votes than them. And that is un-American to me as well. And I don't know.
And it also kind of pushes out the idea, and this goes back to that whole I don't know if I would vote for Hillary on that side. I know that if Cruz, Trump, or Carson, the top three Republican guys go, I'm not going to go vote for any of those guys. Yeah, I wouldn't do that, but what?
No, I still want to respond to Sawyer, but about the other thing that we were talking about 5 minutes ago.
I'm so frustrated because I'm listening to this and my core being is torn because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm also a voter. I'm also an educated person. The money. I do believe that money is power, and if you work hard enough to earn that power, then I do believe as long as you're spending the money legally, that's within your right. Votes, Instagram likes, Facebook likes, shares, hits on your webpage. I mean, everything is driven by finance. Government is no different from a business. We said it a few minutes ago, Hillary, she's got the backing, she's got the stuff. So if we're going to compare everything to one thing, it's got to be equilateral. So business is business, and money, it pays for votes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the unfortunate part. And for me, what it does is it pushes me more toward that. Why do I have to pick between the lesser of two evils? I mean, at one point I didn't register to vote because when I was in high school, when I was just exiting high school, I was 17 when the elections for Bush and Gore went on, and when I had found out that the popular vote didn't win, I was like, why do I want to participate in this process? This is ridiculous. And I didn't for the longest time, and people kept telling, yeah, it's un-American, and you don't have a say if you don't vote. And it's like, well, do I then have a say if I vote independent? Do I have a say if I vote Green? Do I have a say if I vote all these other parties of people that run that we all know aren't going to win? I mean, the last time it worked was like Teddy Roosevelt, I think, and in a way it was kind of like a pseudo-Republican Party anyway. So it's, I don't know. I mean, it's harder these days. It's even harder when we have routinely, close to, if not less than half of the country votes. So that's my biggest problem, is the lack of voting. And I think that whatever candidate, if any candidate is able to get a large bunch of people to come out and vote, I think they deserve to be president. Which is why, I mean, Obama did that. Obama got a lot of people who didn't previously vote to vote. So it worked for him. I don't know how it worked out the second time. I didn't really pay attention.
But then I pose the question to you. I mean, just in response, if you get a lot of people to come out and vote, then you deserve to be president. But if you pay for those people to come out and vote, if you make sure that you get those people to vote for you because you can drive them to the polls, you can run commercials in their states, you can get out this ground game. It's not about your values. It's about how much money you can spend to make sure. Then have we gotten to the point where the person with the most money wins, and that person tends to always be the people with the most donations, who tend to be the people who have the supporters who are the richest, who tend to be the people who have supporters who are large businesses? I mean, that's a slippery slope.
Yeah, I get that. If there's no limit on the amount of money that they can give, then I can see that, you're obviously, it gets rid of the third party. The idea,
you gotta call it what it is. It's a private interest group, and if you're talking about private interest group funding, that's a whole other can of worms. I mean, that goes right back to lobbying. So you're gonna get. You think Bernie and Hill? Holy shit! I mean, you're talking about Halliburton set aside contracts for the next 40 years for Hillary if she goes in. She's been in bed with all the major production for military since day one. You think it isn't going to behoove her to get in there? You don't think they're funding her? It's all the same, man. I mean, don't get fooled by the brand name. It's all from the same producer.
No, I don't doubt any of that. I totally take that. I don't doubt any, because like I said, I think I have a good understanding of how politics works at that level, and so all of that dirty, yucky stuff, I kind of accept that it comes along with it. And even Bernie, too. You don't get to be a really, really long-lived senator. Vermont, sure. They're not all just tapping maple jams out of
maple syrup.
Right. They're not just all just. I'm sure there's other industry in Vermont that is giving him an office.
Well, the gun industry is
right. Yeah. So I understand that it's dirty. I understand, and that's why I don't mind voting for Hillary. I don't mind because I know it's all dirty. But
I think you have to choose the lesser of two evils, though.
Yeah. And that's what I said. Lesser of two evils. I'd rather have Hillary than the next 5 Republicans.
So speaking on lesser of two evils, is anyone trying to reach out for that Mein Kampf copyright? Because that copyright expires tomorrow on the 1st. 7-year copyright. Anyone looking to take that on as their own little Mein Kampf?
I'm gonna rewrite it.
I didn't know this, but the copyright was held by the German state of Bavaria since 1945. They own the copyright to that. It's weird that a country, a state of Bavaria. It's weird that it's owned by a municipality. Probably a better way of putting it.
Must be a huge investment.
People are actually already announcing annotated reprints of the manifesto.
Really?
Talk about making some money off of that. It was actually banned too. That's weird. They banned it by the Allies at the end of the World War.
Wait. It's banned in the United States? Like it was banned?
No, I don't know if it was still. No, you can still. I think you can still
I have it downstairs. I mean, I was going to say, like.
How do you have it downstairs? Aren't you calling from the desert?
We have a bunker underneath the command center. Get real, bro. You rookies.
How about something a little lighter? Did everyone see the Star Wars movie yet?
Nope.
Woo! What?
So who am I kicking out? I'm kicking out
Right.
you. So do any of you? Okay, wait. Who didn't see it? Sawyer, you're like the only one.
I didn't see it.
No, I saw it.
Oh,
I
you
loved
did.
it.
Candace, why
It's
didn't you?
amazing. I said I saw it. I clapped my hands.
Yeah, look, Brian's wearing a Star Wars shirt.
It's not that I don't want to see it. I just don't have time.
Oh,
I didn't see it either.
you're too important
Priorities
for
are in the
Star
wrong
Wars.
place.
And also, I don't want to go to the movies by myself.
Well,
Oh.
we gotta like set up we gotta organize a trip. I gotta go see
I'll
it
go
for the
again.
15th
Let's go.
time.
Let's go. We'll go together. I'll go
You know
again.
what? I'm going by myself to see The Revenant. No shame. Just go.
Oh.
Sit there by yourself. Nobody wants to see it with me. I'm gonna go see it by
I'll
myself.
go.
I'll
I
see the
will
Revenant.
go. I will go with you. And
Yeah, I go to movies. It's like when during the day, you know, this whole
you
work
can't
from
go
home
at 10
thing.
p.m. in the
Yeah,
afternoon.
what you
or
do-
10 a.m. in the afternoon. It's
You
not gonna
go
work.
exactly. You go at like the 10 o'clock showing in the morning. You get the matinee price. You'd be
Right.
amazed.
You wake up at 10.
Oh yeah, I
All
know.
day-
Okay, so
all
you
day
wake up.
Tuesday.
Oh, I'm gonna wake
Yeah.
up and go see a movie.
All day Tuesday at Century is $6.
It's
That's right.
true.
$6 a
You'll
rock.
find Greg with a blanket.
But that's the thing.
Or,
So you go there. You'd be surprised if you go to the movie theater at 10 a.m., 10:30. How many? Like you can go into Saw 7. They can bring out Saw 7 or 8, I guess, if 7 exists. And there will be everybody from Leisure Village, 65 plus people inside this theater. And you're like, how? I
You're
didn't.
right there with them.
You guys watch this stuff? It's very interesting going to a movie theater early in the morning. I'll tell you that. It's not only cheap. It's an interesting experience. But no,
Is that like going to the mall right when it opens and all the old people are kind of walking
Yes.
around the mall like to get at, they kind of
That's what I
scurry
look
like
forward
rats
to.
when you turn the light on.
I'm gonna get all my exercise done over 60 because I'll be at the mall in the morning. So Star Wars. So okay, so there's no spoilers. We're not gonna do any spoilers.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. So here's the spoiler. At the end of the movie, the credits.
Greg
roll.
cried.
I did cry. There. Hey, don't. There's people off camera laughing at me.
Am I the only one to say that I wasn't impressed with the movie?
If we can say it without spoilers. I'll
I just
spoil it for
wasn't
people
impressed.
watching. I just I don't want to spoil it for people who want to see it. Let's see. What else is going on in the news? Who cares? New Year's Eve is coming up, guys.
It is.
Seriously, I think that's kind of that. You know, I like resolutions. I like the new year. You can't fight with anybody about how to celebrate it. There's no like put the New Year's back in New Year's. Like it doesn't.
New Year's matters, man.
Yeah, like it is the first of the year. It is the New Year day. Like that. That's it. Unless you're what Chinese or Tibetan, I guess they're kind of the same. So well, yeah. Chinese
Hey
Tibetan.
now.
So
Hey.
you know they fight about other things. They don't even fight about when the
Right.
freaking New Year is.
Megan's represented in that.
But no, it's one of my next to 4th of July for the explosions. It's my favorite holiday, and because in a way it's kind of a forced new beginning. But I realize there's a lot of people out there. My East Coast family are all against it. Like resolutions, we change life and shit every day, and they're like, go for it. But I think that it's nice. It's a nice way to kind of reflect. Megan and I were currently with one website, please. We're currently working on our business end year. What did we accomplish? What do we want to do next? And what are our goals? Kind of thing. So in a way, it really helps. It really helps get that going. And I don't know. Is anyone opposed to resolutions? Do they just not make them, or they find them silly, or do you all kind of participate in this shenanigans?
I love them. I love them.
I find it silly.
Really?
Ooh, we got one facility. Sawyer
Alright.
Sawyer just vomited it on himself.
If people
So-
will actually go through with it, then more power to them. That's awesome. But the majority of people don't ever do anything about it. They'll make all these
That's-
resolutions and then they don't do anything.
That's valid.
Like I
That's
do.
valid.
I set the bar low, then I don't fail. It's just like, you know what? I'm gonna walk once a week.
I want to wake up
Around the
once
block.
a day.
I win
No,
every time.
Statistically, you're completely correct, Candace. Most people don't keep any resolutions, whether it be on New Year's or not. However, if you make them on New Year's, you have a higher chance of keeping it for longer. So you have the same failure rate at the 3-4 months out, but at least for that 4 months, LA Fitness gets your money. So
I know.
All those Christmas gift cards.
Don't buy the year
going back to the
subscription.
gym after New Year's. It's going to be madness for a couple months.
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing. I guess you kind of like if you make a resolution to stay away from people, that would be a good thing. Like,
Ooh, now you're talking my language.
Brian, how about you? How do you feel?
I think I participated in resolutions a little when I was younger, but then there's a point when you go, who am I kidding? Like, if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to do this, why not start the day I think of it, right, and not wait till New Year's? So yeah, fuck those.
Well, I kind of pulled that same thing, as I wanted to do more video. I'm preparing for some stuff that we're doing next year for the company, and I wanted to get used to the idea of doing video. For all you audio listeners who will probably turn into audio listeners only for this show in the future, it is better distribution, the audio side, but I love the video. The idea, doing these things that we're doing right now 3-4 years ago, maybe a little bit more than that, were not even possible without having some kind of paid solution. Even the audio thing was extremely difficult, and now, at least from the technology standpoint, a lot of people are kind of doing the same thing. They're doing the audio thing. They're pushing into podcasts. People are doing more webinars. That's kind of the thing. And I see video being the 5, maybe 10 years from now, but I'm gonna go and say 5 years from now that video is going to be the thing. So I'm trying to perfect this process. I'm trying to get the video thing going, and in order to do that, I wanted to be better at the interview side of it. I wanted to be better at organizing these things. I'm terrible at the marketing side of this. I usually market this like the afternoon before we do this. But I took this resolution 10 weeks ago. That's kind of amazing to even about that. So it's possible, and I think with your guys' support, this has been possible. I'd like to thank you guys.
I actually have one, a personal one. I actually have a personal one, so this is kind of weird. And it's not like the workout one. It's not the whatever be healthy. Mine is not.
Because screw that, right?
Because I've tried that. Fuck that. Mine is actually to not say maybe when I mean to say no. So when I want to say no about something...
That's good.
Yeah. So, like, when I want to say no, like I don't want to do something, don't say maybe. Because here's 2 things that happen. It's either you're stressing out about, like, you have to go to this thing that you don't want to go to, or you're figuring out how to get out of it. So it's, like, stressing you out this whole time, right? So I'd rather just say no. Like, no, I don't want to go. I can't go. No, sorry. And like, it's really hard. It's actually harder than you think it is, because when someone asks you, like, do you want to like hang out? Do you want to do this? Like, maybe. But no, don't say maybe if you want to say no, right?
I will never go to anything if that's the case.
That's what I mean, Gregory. Just say no.
I know. Well, I got a friend a T-shirt, and it says, "I'm sorry, I'm late. I didn't want to come," and it's like. It's really hard for me to plan ahead and go do things, and then the day of having. Oh, please.
Yes. Before I'm done, I will say that there are times when I've gone to things where I've actually had fun after the fact, like when I show up, because I actually went. So I'm not saying like everything, but there are certain times when you're like stretched too thin. Just say no. If you can't do it, like if you have like 3 things going on, and it's like yes or maybe, just say no. Right?
Yeah, it's probably more.
I'm not saying like a social thing. Like sometimes it's fun to like say okay, like I'll go, I'll show up, and like it's fun. Because usually, honestly, Greg, I would have said no to like the Star Wars thing because I'm not like a big movie person. I get anxiety going to movies. Like.
So, Brian, we're gonna be on this thing alone pretty soon.
Yeah, what happened? What's going on?
Yeah, I used to make resolutions. I used to make it a bigger deal. I think I used to make a bigger deal about a lot of holidays than I do now. But yeah, I like that though. I like that whole don't say maybe. I'm not gonna sing the song that just popped in my head. But now you're all.
I hear it. I hear it too.
You hear that?
Yeah.
No, it is a good. I think it's a good time. It's a good time to reset. But you're right, Candace. Keeping it is the hardest part. Maybe what if you counterbalance and say make the resolution, and then make a resolution to not stop doing a resolution. Huh?
What about a group resolution, like a blood pact?
Well, see, what that actually
together.
That would be good to keep you accountable.
Not to say that you should cut the thumb, but that's not a blood oath. That actually might just give you disease. So there's but that is one thing to help you keep anything that you set your mind to is include other people. And look, there's 4 people now on this chat right now. No, but that's if you include other people and you declare it to other people, then you're kind of creating this expectation. Not expectation, because that seems to like really like pressure. But I think that if you put in steps to constantly remind you that this is what you've committed yourself to, that it helps, and not get yourself down. It's like quitting smoking. Like just because you smoked one doesn't mean now you smoke the whole pack. Kind of thing. Like
yes, it does.
I mean,
we smoke them all around here, Greg.
That's what. I mean, it's you have to pay for all 20 of them. You might as well, right? So yeah, there you go. New Year's Eve. Wow, you guys have no resolution. Everyone hates resolutions.
Hey, I made one. I made one. So.
Yeah, Megan's making a resolution.
Come on, guys.
What are you guys gonna do? What are you gonna do though? Like, what are your plans? Are you actually gonna do anything, or are you just gonna everybody staying home? No, for the plans. I mean,
I'm gonna play. I miss Dick Clark, so I'm gonna play 2005 Rockin' New Year's Eve and just.
2005,
yeah.
like you're.
Well, we need to go pre-stroke, so. Because when they made him do it those other years, it just wasn't the same.
It's tough to understand him.
When the drool is frozen to his face, I'm sorry. Am I alone here?
I sure couldn't talk shit about Bill Cosby. Jeez.
No, I can't watch Seacrest. No, we pay too much money to go to a place that we're gonna have too much fun at. So at least it feels like it. So it's like going to an expensive restaurant.
Where are you going?
And you go there as long as you pay the money, as long as you walk out full and you don't go on an in-and-out run on the way home. Then it's fine.
Who are you? What are you talking about?
That's happened. That's happened to me before. There's nothing worse than going to a place, paying all that money to go eat, and then on the way home from your hour-and-a-half drive from LA, you go, oh, there's an In-N-Out. Pull in there quick. And
I thought you always did that, Greg. I thought you always did that. No?
Yes, yeah. Every night. The end of every big meal is just I do my whole double bacon cheeseburger. I think I might have just let the cat out. My wife does not know that I had a double bacon cheeseburger.
Hi, Beth.
Recorded on the internet now for everyone to see.
It's out there for thousands of millions of people.
Let me ask you guys a question. What is your go-to order, everyone, at In-N-Out?
Ooh.
Double
3x3 animal style, no tomato, add raw onion, fries. I don't need a drink because I brought water.
No. Not that.
Water, I'm trying to cut back, so the water really replaces a lot of things.
With all those meat patties, you dirtball.
And if you're going low carb, you get 2 double Dutchmen. Get the raw onion, and don't get the spread because the spread's real good, but it's got carb. And you put the raw onion. So I haven't had a double Dutchman before. Double Dutchman
is the In-N-Out expert.
Two meat patties with cheese in the middle. That's it. That's a Flying Dutchman. So you get 2 of those bad boys. Throw some raw onion in the middle. Done.
Wait, raw onion, not grilled onion.
No, not well. They won't do the grilled onion on the double Dutchman.
How do you wrap it? How do you hold the meat?
There's certain things they just won't do. They won't. There's something else that they. I don't know. They got their limitations in and out. This is supposed to be a simple meal. You got 4 things on the menu, and 2 of those things are just a double of the first.
Mine's a double, no onion, animal style fry, no onion, extra spread, and then I get a Flying Dutchman and put it on top of that.
Are you serious? Is that what?
Wow.
I am blown away.
Holy shit.
So
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know what the spread is, but I'm interested.
It's the difference between the high score and the low score in a sports game.
Haven't you ever bet?
We're not talking about my
You win the
gambling.
bet, you don't win the bet. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, let's not talk about my sordid gambling histories. No, but seriously, the spread.
Is that the mayo?
It's the Thousand Island dressing.
Oh, well, that's the same thing as animal style, then. Just say animal style.
No, animal style is grilled onions and they use mustard.
Mustard.
Yeah, it's the mustard is the style.
See,
And
I'm
pickles,
a California
pickles
dude.
too. There's
That's
pickles.
why that was all weird. Like Megan's like, I like animal style with no onions, and I'm like, how? I'm so angry at that. How is that possible?
How do you get the onions out of the animal style?
yeah. Did they pick them out by hand?
The towel.
I want you to pull them with tweezers.
Candace, when you're not working out and pumping irons, what is your In-N-Out order of choice?
Well, I think we talked about this the last time you guys did a podcast, but I actually don't like In-N-Out.
Okay, so
But
we
if
got
I-
double kicked just now. We got a Star Wars and In-N-Out.
I didn't say I didn't
Defector.
like Star Wars.
Have you
I
seen
just
the
had-
movie? Have you seen the movie?
Not yet.
Mm.
Anyway, if I do end up at In-N-Out, though, I usually just get a regular cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Nothing
All
else.
right. You know.
I gotta throw in with Candace. I don't think that I've eaten In-N-Out in probably 6 or 7 years. I haven't pulled through. Yeah.
Brian, you're like Mr. California. What's your problem?
It's not good. Like there's so. If I'm gonna eat a burger, like I think there's better burger places.
What's a better
Which
burger?
one?
And
Five Guys is pretty good.
I'm gonna judge your.
yeah, I was gonna say Five Guys. I go to Five Guys and get double cheeseburger, double bacon, grilled onions, mustard, bunless, because I'm on a no carb kick right now. But I haven't pulled through In-N-Out. I'll tell you what it is. It's its popularity, because if I'm just buying burgers for my kids, why am I going to wait 45 minutes in line for In-N-Out when I can just do 5 minutes in line
Dude,
for...
you gotta go at 1 a.m. That's the time to go.
for McDonald's.
Duh, come on.
And if I'm going to sit there and eat a burger with a knife and fork, I'd rather go to Five Guys, and that's kind of my thing.
Yeah, I like Five Guys. Actually, what I used to do is go and get the In-N-Out burger, come home, cook some of that thick bacon, and put the bacon in there. Someone would make a killing if they brought a food truck that sold bacon outside of In-N-Out. Just park in that dirt lot that's next door.
Yeah.
And just
true.
sell.
I got to tell you, into that, I made a pound of bacon this morning with no plans to use it for the meal I was making.
Brian,
my wife came home.
Only 1 pound?
Yeah, like a package of bacon. But my wife came down the stairs and said, "Why are you making bacon? Are you cooking?" I was like, "No, I'm just making bacon to wrap it up to keep it in the fridge for other things that need bacon." And that happens.
You know what? That's I think
just
that's
make
awesome.
bacon just in case. Like that's what I did this one. Just in case.
Inventory bacon.
I made bacon.
In an earlier episode, we talked about when you knew you were an adult. I think
Yes.
that makes you an adult.
Just in case we need bacon later, I'm gonna make some. Anybody? Right. That's
The
exactly
Boy
what
Boy Scout
happened.
of bacon, right? You can never be out of bacon, so you are always prepared with the bacon.
And
Yeah.
I made lunch and didn't use
Amazing.
bacon for lunch. I made bacon just in case.
Is Brian, are you in town? Are you in Camarillo, or are you around the
I'm
area?
in Oxnard.
Okay, when you come up here, there's a restaurant in Old Town Camarillo called 2088.
I
They
know
have the best Angus burger in the world. It is literally, it's got garlic aioli wasabi sauce on top of it.
I hate that word
that's
aioli.
my
Okay,
jam.
let me go ahead. Let me stop everyone right there. Let me stop this
Word is for Greg.
aioli is the worst possible
Not
word.
areola.
No, because it's just mayonnaise. Just call it mayonnaise. It's
flavored
mayonnaise.
mayonnaise.
This
Thank
is
you.
California.
Thank you. It's mayonnaise. It's mayonnaise with shit in it. That's what aioli is.
Right. It's mayonnaise that they spruced up with something that used to taste good until it was mixed in with mayonnaise. That's what aioli is.
Greg, as a rule, you're not allowed to like mayonnaise. So let's just get that in the
Mayonnaise is
ballpark
fucking
here.
delicious. I eat mayonnaise on a daily basis, and aioli is flavored mayonnaise. That's what it is.
I challenge you to grab a tub of mayonnaise and eat a tablespoon of that.
I got no problem with it.
I
got no problem putting fries in mayonnaise.
Alone.
Fries and mayonnaise, European style. Mayonnaise is amazing.
Cry in a corner. I'll cry myself to sleep.
I gotta go, guys.
All that mayonnaise in your beard.
I'm gonna kick it over to you.
Just dripping. You can touch. You hold your ham sandwich under my beard, and I'll squeeze it out.
Oh.
So gross.
Oh. Is anyone else a mayonnaise hater? Is not anyone?
I love mayonnaise. I love it.
I can eat
No
it
mayonnaise.
sometimes, but I don't really care for it.
Thank you. Don't really care for it. Let's get some more commitment out of you on this. Do I
I
have to
love
Yoda?
it.
Do I
I
have to?
love it.
It's not my favorite. It makes my stomach hurt, so I try not to eat it.
Yeah, it makes my body hurt just thinking about it.
It's just because it's solid fat, dude. You're just eating basically jellied.
Well, and it's just like it's just like the like salsa. I love salsa. I hate tomatoes. I hate raw tomatoes with a passion, but I love salsa. Pasta sauce. It's just weird. It's weird. Righteous reseller is with us in the chat. They're saying that they love it in small amounts. I'm gonna have to boot you out of the chat, righteous reseller. Light mayo. I'll give you the light mayo because okay, so tuna. Although I prefer it with like an olive oil or some kind of flavored olive oil or something, or tuna in like spring water. But tuna with mayonnaise.
So am I out too then? Am I out? Like I'm out.
Yeah, you're all out.
I
Brian.
gotta go.
Brian is already out. Brian was in. He was good. He was hanging in there with Star Wars, and then he had to
And then I went to mayonnaise, and it's all over.
Not only did he say he liked mayonnaise, but
I love mayonnaise.
he loves mayonnaise.
I
I love mayonnaise. Me too, Brian. High five.
Boom.
You can't
Why don't
do
you guys
that.
just go smear mayonnaise all over each other's faces?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nipples. That's where mayonnaise goes on your nipples.
Yeah,
Don't like mayonnaise. I like it. It's fine.
I feel like I just had a heart attack.
Brian,
Find
private
us
message. Private message.
A new topic.
Coronary artery.
Did anyone see Mike Tyson fall on his
I
hoverboard?
did, and it was fantastic. It was fucking fantastic.
What's like hoverboards? Has anyone here tried?
Can I just say something?
Please.
They're not hoverboards. They have wheels.
Yeah.
They have wheels. They're
You're
not
right.
hoverboards.
You're right. That did blow me away when they're like hoverboards exist, and then the whole article was about this thing with wheels.
They're not hoverboards. They have
You're forgetting
wheels.
key
And Mike
dynamic.
Tyson, yeah. And Mike Tyson, that was fucking hilarious. That was hilarious.
Thank you, Megan. That Mike Tyson video made me piss my pants. I actually wet my pants.
You might wanna check that out. You might want to go see a doctor about that. I wouldn't recommend.
Prostate cancer. I didn't want to let you guys know like this, but sorry. Pee my pants.
Oh shit! Sorry, I just watched it right now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's like it's amazing. I don't know. You're like so with Christmas around, everyone's getting these brand hoverboards, and you're like these videos have to be out there. And I've seen the compilations of just normal people, but it's just funny watching it. Someone actually made a punch-out version of it where he's kind of going around, and then because I don't know if you've ever played Punch-Out, but you're always missing.
I love it. Yeah.
And then there's like that uppercut, and that's when Mike Tyson falls. And
Yeah.
but then you have the Catholic priest who is doing his Christmas mass, the Christmas Eve mass.
He got fined for it, right?
He got suspended. I didn't know that was possible, like to be suspended, like temporarily suspended for running a hoverboard. That one is funny.
Like from above, like from the diocese came down on him, and like you can't.
Yeah, they did. They said that it's unprofessional or something, and and it's funny because it's like a 2.5-minute video of him on a microphone, like hovering in and out of the aisles, and you're just waiting for him to fall, and he doesn't. And that's the only disappointing thing about that whole video is that 2.5 minutes going in and out of pews and rows, and he doesn't fall one bit. Like he practiced this. This is a real thing for him.
Oh yeah, he did.
What those things are kind of a pisser is that like I got kids, and my oldest, my boy, we got him like the coolest shit. Like we got him the thing. We're like, oh, he's gonna like this. He's gonna like this. He's gonna like this.
Well, you're cheating because you have a boy.
Yeah.
So.
and then we're like, hey, Ted, what do you want for Christmas? Thinking that hoping that he was gonna just like manage to say all the things we got him. We're like, good. And then all he said was hoverboard. And we're like, fuck that. We're not gonna get him a hoverboard. All he talk about, oh, we want him for Christmas is a hoverboard. And the whole time we're like, he's not getting one. Should we go? No. There's no way we're gonna buy him one because I like my child.
Are they?
They're about $500.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. So now that Christmas is over,
$500.
now that Christmas is over, my inbox is filled with deals for them for like $230, $240.
I saw one for $350 after Christmas.
And so here's the thing too, is that California apparently preempted this with this law saying that if you're people under 16 are not allowed to ride it out in the street.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of other things that they
passed. Because at the end of the day, it's a moving vehicle.
It is.
Right.
It's a moving vehicle. It's not powered.
Well, okay, so they limited the amount because apparently they have governors on them as well. Like Segways.
Oh, right.
Segways have governors on them. So they now limited you can't go any faster than 30 miles an hour, which makes it a motor vehicle at that point. Like you have to get a license for it and all. But it's just I don't know. I picture myself eating shit. I remember the first time. I tried dropping in on a skateboard into a bowl. What are they? Brian, I need to defer to expert opinion.
Can I actually raise a point real quick? Can I raise a point?
Yeah, please.
The fact that you just said like Segway, it actually is like a Segway without handlebars. Like that's the same exact thing that it is. Like you lean forward, you go.
You
lean back, you go backwards.
balance.
Same thing.
That's the thing too, is that okay? So now let's get all Back to the Future 2 on this. The scene where Marty McFly is running away from Biff Tannen and Son. He rips the handle off the scooter, and he uses the hoverboard as a skateboard. So you kind of wonder, maybe that's where the name came from.
It's
a
not
Segway.
a hoverboard.
Segway.
It's not a hoverboard.
Well, I'm just saying, it's like a Segway. They rip the arm off.
Two-wheeled skateboard.
Man. There's wheels, man.
Why was that not trademarked? Come on, Zemeckis. Let's do this. There you go. So there's some movie trivia for you. Who directed Back to the Future? So apparently, Righteous Reseller is telling us that in Sacramento they ticket people already for them. So it's just I don't know. I go back to dropping in half pipe. Yes, thank you. And so I worked for a packing company at the time, and I wrapped myself in bubble wrap, and I still, when I went down, fell right on my ass. And it's not. So I don't want to end up on the internet because I know people are going to be like, oh, there's that guy on the hoverboard. That's what it's called, Megan. That's what it's called. That's what's the name of the company. And so I just picture people going, there's that guy, and they're going to turn on their camera, and the moment they do that, I'm going to eat shit, and that'll be it. And they're very heavy apparently. So I figured I figure they got to be counterbalanced in some way. There's a gyroscope or something inside. I picture those old like someone pulls a string and there's this like gyroscope coming around that's kind of keeping you up. I don't know. Would any of you ride one? Like, would any of you legitimately say, I want a hoverboard and I would ride it in public, not in my home?
Nope.
I rode one in the neighborhood here. One of the neighborhood kids had one, and I rode it, and it was just kind of like stepping onto like, have you ever been on those endo boards before with the little cone in the center and you lean forward to go forward, you lean backward to go backwards. It didn't go very fast, but I'm also super fat, so it definitely had an issue with my weight and my size, so that was a big deal for it. But other than that, it was amazing for 13-year-old kids. That's about it.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I admit that I am interested in it, but I think it's more of a nerd standpoint, and I'll get over it. It won't survive the 30-day wait that I always do. 30 days. If I still don't want it in 30 days, I'm on day 15. So.
Greg, you're as tall as me, dude, and it's not gonna do good for you. I really don't know. I was over 6'2". If you're over 6'2" and 200 pounds, you're done. Forget about it. Sorry, there's just things we don't do. Your feet can't get that close together. I can't get my little feet that You know, it's like fucking standing on a shot glass. It's like, oh shit, you know, fuck that. No.
Yeah, it doesn't seem safe for anybody. In fact, I think it'd be safer for kids than it would be for adults. Because at least kids will bounce back, they'll fall and say, "Oh, that's nothing. Whatever, I'm getting back
Their
up."
bones aren't as brittle, right?
Right, they bounce. They bounce
Less hard to fall.
All right, let's jump to a more serious topic. There's a lot of like laws that are passing in California at the start of the new year, including the Segway thing. Apparently, earbuds were not previously banned inside of vehicles. They've now explicitly banned them on bikes and cars.
But they're saying if you have 2 of them in.
Oh, so it's 2.
Yeah, I think it's just specifically 2.
Okay.
Which I already thought that was a rule, honestly.
Yeah,
Me too. Me too. Why is this a new law? Oh, you know why? Because it says headphones. Headphones are not allowed to wear in a car, and apparently.
So we're old, is what you're saying. We're old. Like, headphones, we can't have those.
Now wait a
headphones
second.
on.
What about the old hands-free devices that are very similar to Megan's headphones right now? You know, you've got 2 earbuds and a little drop-down connector. You know, people have been running those forever.
Well, yeah, but it only goes in one ear.
Well,
I just want to
know. I just want to know what officer is going to pull you over for that.
A dick.
It's like you can't wear earbuds while riding your bike anymore. Like that's out. Like you can't wear them. So is the officer going to pull you over on your bike and say, "Hey, excuse me, let me give you a ticket for wearing earbuds"? But you're right, and that's what Righteous Reseller is saying. There's lots of deaths here because of it. The guy got hit by a train last month. That happens here. People are on their headphones and they're walking on the track.
I was a point. I had a friend who actually got hit running because she couldn't hear the car that hit her. So yeah, that's fair. It is fair.
But should you punish the runner for that, or should you punish the car who should be watching out for the runner? And why was the runner in the road? And what, you know? I'm going to prosecute this case right now.
I think most of these kinds of laws are not about. It's not about like busting somebody who's doing it, but rather having 10 things that you can charge them with after the fact.
Yeah.
You know,
that's kind of like the broken taillight to pull over the DUI.
It's also another point.
Right,
it's also another point. It's the point of, also it's another reason to not have it happen to begin with, which is if someone can hear the car coming or the train coming or the thing coming, maybe it wouldn't happen to begin with.
Yeah, well, that's how I think a few months ago someone got hit in Montalvo because of that. They were running by the tracks and they didn't hear the train coming and they ended up getting hit. And Righteous Reseller, I know you're pulling out that the car driver is always at fault, but what I mean is that if the pedestrian's running in the street, I still blame the driver, I guess. I don't know. I remember when I was 14 or whatever, when it first became illegal for people under 18 to not wear a helmet while riding their bike. I think at that point I started to become that libertarian sympathizer. It's like, why are you inventing rules to protect me from myself? Let me figure out if I'm going to be. It should be my choice to become a quadriplegic or brain dead. Like I should be able to pick one of those.
Yes. You're 100% right.
Well, no.
Why can't you? Why can't people? I should give people rope to hang themselves.
But Brian, you have kids. You have kids, right? So
yeah.
don't you train your kids don't run in the street?
Yeah, because that's me in their mind. But no, here's the societal reason why we have rules to protect ourselves. Because when somebody here's the easy one that everybody loves to talk about: helmet on a motorcycle. But because when a person, because there are fundamental features of the human condition that mandate that if somebody shows up in the ER who was riding a motorcycle, who didn't have a helmet and is seriously injured, we cannot simply refuse them treatment. Like, well, they fucked themselves, let them die. No, when somebody hurts themselves, and I'm saying this as a point of academic, I'm not trying to argue some major point. I'm just saying academically, that's the judgment, because when somebody almost kills themselves and from not wearing a helmet on a motorcycle, the rest of us are obligated to keep them alive, and that cost is borne by all of society and not the person themselves. And so that's the reason why these keep you safe laws exist, because there are things where the rest of us are obligated to step in, and so we would rather just you wear the fucking helmet. And that's the academic. I'm not trying to argue the point. I'm just saying that's the reason.
I think that's that's socially honest, because at the end of the day, if they do end up getting hurt, then we end up somehow socially paying for that.
Yeah, we all pay for it. It's not just those sorts of rules are not about.
But that's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Speaking of slippery slopes, the other law that that passed, and I'd never heard about this one, and because I read there were like 5 that had passed, and these, there's traffic laws and stuff. Apparently, California state law just passed, or that goes into effect on Friday, allows authorities to seize a person's weapon for 21 days if a judge determines potential for violence exists. I never heard of, Brian, we've talked a lot about gun control on this show, and I've never heard of that before.
What's what is the actual, like, what qualifies that?
I don't see. That's where I get shaky. I don't like the idea that a judge can just say.
Me either.
But that's kind of what they're there for. Let me actually read the law. I'm looking at National Rifle Association said, remember this next time someone tries to tell you no one's talking about confiscation. I don't think anyone says that. I think people are saying they're coming after our guns. But I guess it's the same thing.
Yeah, but that's a weird, because even I, like, that's a, yeah.
So the law was prompted by the mass shooting that actually happened up in Santa Barbara, in which officers beforehand visited shooter. They visited his home after the parents raised alarms about his mental health, yet concluded he wasn't a risk, and they didn't search the apartment where he stashed his guns, ammo, and knives. The actual law itself, California law already bans people from possessing guns if they've committed a violent crime or were involuntarily committed to a mental health facility. Police may also seize guns if a licensed therapist notifies them an individual is a risk to their safety. The actual law, I can't find that quickly here, but people are saying, let's see, but Second Amendment advocates say the law could put lawful gun owners at risk. We don't need another law to solve this problem, is what they're saying. We just think this misses the mark and may create a situation where law-abiding... That's always the argument. Law-abiding gun owners are in jeopardy. Well, like, if we did background checks and stuff, would that put you in jeopardy because you can't go buy them at a gun show now? Is that, like... I hate blanket statements because it's so general. It puts them in jeopardy. Like, you watch the show Jeopardy, they're all given equal chance to answer the questions. Does that, Sawyer, I'm going to kick it over to you because I know your background and the business that you're in involves working with guns. How do you feel about this?
It's a tense subject for everyone. Everybody wants gun control. Everybody wants safe access. Everybody wants people that have them to be responsible. I think that the biggest problem that we have in this country is the demonization of the weapon itself, and not the focus on the treatment of the individual and or individuals who may or may not have problems. I, for one, agree with the idea that a judge can order you to have your weapons taken away, because not because I'm against personal freedoms or liberties, because I'm not. I'm very pro Second Amendment. What I'm not for is for loose cannons having access to weaponry that is deadly and dangerous. My biggest thing is you can be a sane person, come into a divorce and lose your mind, and you have a whole bunch of guns. If your friends and family are worried about it, I think that they can recommend you. And not naming any names, my personal gun safe right now has a friend's gun in it who's going through a hard time. He came to me and he said, you know what, I just don't even want the temptation. He put it in my safe. I've got it locked up. That's the kind of gun control we need, and it's basically just being a good person, watching out for your friends and family. You know, if you know you have gun owners, or even if you know you have friends that are going through a hard time that are subject to some of these things that are, you know, triggers, keyword, you know, we see in all these mass shootings there's kind of a tenor, you know, there's distressed person, depressed, boyfriend, girlfriend problems. You know, I think if we can just start treating people like people and getting away from demonizing the firearm, we'll have a solution to both problems, because one will fix the other. Does that make sense?
I think that's a good balanced answer. You know, a few questions come up is basically, you know, I get that. I think that, you know, the whole takes a village. Maybe that continues on past childhood, where people can kind of keep watch out for each other, and be able to check in. You know, like well, I forgot what day it was, but there was a vet check day where everyone checked in, you know, check in on your vet. And I could see how something like that. How do we get there? That's my question. Is how do we get there? Because not everyone's going to see, oh, you're having problems. Most people, if they're approached with like, oh, I'm having problems with this and that, they get avoided in general, because it's like, oh, you're harsh and mellow kind of thing. And I don't think people typically think that someone's food is done. I don't think typically people.
I was looking for my microwave, and I'm like, I know I'm not cooking anything.
But no, I think it's how do we get to the point where we all know to check in, where those gun owners are people that we go, okay, we know that they own a gun, which most people don't advertise that. They don't want people to know that they have guns.
It's not that I'm saying you should target specific gun owners in general, but what I'm saying is at a point of apathy, you know, and a point of just general kindness, if people in general would watch out for their fellow man, in general, I'm not talking about gun owners, I'm going to talk about everyone, you would create an environment that these kind of crimes that happen out of these situations of depression, feelings of loss, you know, isolation, it's not the weapon that's committing the crime, it's the person looking to cry out. You know, they need, you know, it's like suicidal people. They cut their wrists, you know, they kill themselves. Or then there's those who attempt suicide. Not going down that road, but just saying, you know, there's different levels of what people are going to do. Some people have a point to prove. They've been picked on. You know, they want to go out and they want to pick up a gun and they want to go kill someone. You know, you can't stop that. I don't care how many laws you put into place. I mean, you know, I could pick up a kitchen knife and go on a mass murder spree at the grocery store. You know, it just depends on the person. But if you treat the person, not the problem, the person is the thing that's causing the crime. You know, help people. You know, help people. That's it. Bring it back to that. You know.
Fernando, I do want to welcome you back, and also kind of touch on and see if you have anything that you want to talk about regarding this topic. I mean, you're in Washington State. Isn't Washington State, they're super gun friendly up there, or no? I don't know.
Yeah, I have a concealed weapons permit.
Okay, so yeah, that's right. That's a real popular thing. That's actually fairly easy to get up there.
Well, I mean, yeah, you got to go through your background check and make sure everything's on the up and up. But yeah, I mean, all you got to do is go down to your local municipality, do your fingerprints, put in your fee or your application. Within a few weeks, you get your license in the mail. And I mean, here and well, anywhere you can go buy a gun anywhere. You just can't conceal it. For a concealed weapons permit, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah. So, Brian, usually you're the loudest one on this subject here. You hear this, and I see the balance myself. And as I've said in the other episodes too, I'm always torn. I'm always torn on this. I don't like slippery slope arguments, but I do see that okay, so now a judge can say, I don't think that you should have a gun because someone told me that you shouldn't. And they rule and they take your guns away for 21 days, I guess. And I'm pretty sure that they'll find some way to keep it longer, like extend it or whatever. But how do you feel about this? Is this a good law?
I think this falls under the category of the common sense stuff that most people would agree with. And I got to tell you, like, I don't have a problem with anything that Sawyer said about dealing with the people and not with the guns. I am a pretty outspoken gun control advocate, but I think that these are steps in the right direction. That I don't think that the guns confer any special. Just because you got a gun doesn't mean that you have these things. And you said people don't like to say their status. I will say it. I am a gun owner. I do own guns. I wish that we could address things in a reasonable way and get the burrito out of the microwave or whatever is going on.
Yeah, whose goddamn burrito is that?
But what I'm saying is that I think that this is a step in the right direction. I love the idea of check-in on a vet day, and I wish we had the check-in on a weird loner day, because that's where this stuff tends to happen. Weird loners.
Check in on that guy that no one ever talked to in high
check in on
school.
your weird loner that just ask them how they're doing that day.
That makes me think of what is it, Billy Madison, when it goes back and Steve Buscemi plays that creepy guy, and he's got the long list, and he crosses people off these lists, like have a check in on Steve Buscemi day kind of thing.
Yeah. Brian, you're a unicorn, man.
What's that?
You're a unicorn. You're a Democratic gun owner. I'm surprised.
I am. But you know what? I came up with the healthy respect of guns. To me, it's part of my grandfather's legacy. When he died, we found 20 guns stashed in weird places all around his house, and I adopted a couple of them.
Wait, you found 20 guns stashed?
Yeah, when my grandfather died, he cleaned out his house and found guns like under the stove and it was all over the place.
Did you check behind the drywall? Is there anything like?
No, I mean just whatever. But so I said, yeah, I'll take this and I'll take that. You know what I mean? And I'm not against the ownership of guns.
Neither am I. That's what I'm saying. Neither am I. I'm all for it. Like, I may or may not own a gun. Maybe.
I don't mind saying it. I own a gun.
When people say they want gun control, I don't think it's gun control, though. I think gun control is an outdated term. I think it should be people control, because a gun is an inanimate object. My phone doesn't drunk dial my ex-girlfriend unless I get up to do it.
That's debatable. That's anecdotal.
There's an app that can control it.
If I had a mic, I would drop it.
There's an app.
There's an app that makes you solve a complex math problem before you can do it. After 10 o'clock at night, you have to do an algebra problem.
I can't do a complex mathematical equation anytime.
I'm just saying. That's the perfect analogy that, yes, you're doing it, but if there was an app that made you do a complex algebra problem...
But what if I wasn't? What if I was trying to call my girlfriend for real? You know, what if I was actually trying to call my wife?
Right.
That's actually a good point. Have you solve the problem and then it still calls your current girlfriend or wife? Yeah.
What if
and if you fail 10 times, then it calls your wife.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. If you keep trying, it calls for you.
It automatically calls your wife.
Let's handle this.
There's a good point, and that Righteous Reseller is putting out in chat. Is he's saying just be nice to everyone. He's always telling people how nice they look or opening doors for other. I think the little things help, and I think that's absolutely accurate. And I just because there's no law that tells people that it's illegal not to be nice to each other. I think the next step down. I don't know. I'm not saying the next step down is gun control by any means, but it's just there's a lot of assholes out there, and it's not I don't think that it's not going postal anymore. You know, we used to use going postal. That was the thing. And then there was a game. There were 2 video games called Postal, literally built around being the deranged post office. And the second one was worse than the first one, as far as games go. So there's going to be people out there that are just going to be assholes anyway. And there's no law against being an asshole, and I hope there never is a law against being an asshole, because without that we wouldn't have comedy. There's a lot of things we wouldn't have. I wouldn't be able to have a day where I want to be that.
I'd be in jail all my life if there was no law about being an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have been in jail a long time ago, fellas.
jail would just be a party. No, but I don't know. For me, it's always the how do we get there argument. Is okay, so, you say like the free market, let the free market regulate, and I always go, okay, well, what about the civil rights movement? All of that, you think about all the dead black people there would be if we just let the free market kind of sort itself out. We might still get there, but just think about all that.
Why does it have to be
what
dead
happens
black people though? Like, why is it just dead black people?
Because it mostly always is.
Because black people have no rights.
Sounds like
No.
The Democrats are at it again.
Yes, here we are, race baiting. That's something I haven't.
Yeah, I know, I saw that.
I haven't heard anyone call anyone a race baiter lately.
You guys can call me a race baiter.
I think, well, that would be different. It's different when you're white.
I'm not Al Sharpton.
No, but I don't know. That's with any law, is basically like, how do we get there? I don't like the idea of regulating anything. As a small business owner, I don't like that certain employment things are regulated. I don't like the fact that I can't make an agreement with somebody to pay them $2 an hour, and as their sound mind and soul are like, yeah, no, $2 an hour, that sounds good. I'm investing my time into. Time isn't worth anything to the government as far as employment law goes, and so but I also know that people abuse that. I also know that people abuse the area that they're in, the demographics that they're hiring, and so I don't know. I hate to end with I don't know. I think that's a bigger cop out than even the slippery slope argument.
Yeah.
So one day someone will make me pick a side.
Hey, Greg.
Yes or no?
What's that, Brian?
I was just gonna say, if you could do a meta-analysis, and I don't think one has been done, but what people assume about things like welfare, a fraud, and voting fraud, and the sorts of things we say to prevent those things, the actual impact of those is negligible compared to the amount of energy we spend. So you were saying that, people taking advantage of that, people cheating the system. Studies tend to prove that most people don't. Most people embrace these bureaucracies, in earnest, and the level of cheating never rises to the level of what we try to spend to prevent the cheating.
Well, thanks for taking it down a notch there, Brian.
Sorry.
No, it's obviously complex. This topic comes up in just about every show that we have, and it comes up because it's in the news, or it's being talked about in some way externally from the show. So we all come into this, and somehow we always end up back on it. I actually stumbled across this California gun law right before the show, and I just thought it was interesting because everything that I've read about all the new laws kicking into place did not include that. So, I don't know, propaganda, maybe.
Life.
Goddamn Illuminati.
What's that, Fernando?
I said life finds a way. Jeff Goldblum. Just part.
With the right amount of stammering.
Right.
Yeah. Candace, I'm gonna throw someone out there. You've been watching some seriously weird YouTube videos. Anything in particular that you should be pointing out for us to watch? Apparently, you killed an entire day watching YouTube.
It ended up not being as long as I thought it was, but I did watch.
That's what it does. YouTube's like pot. Like you think you're watching it that long, but it's really only been about 10 minutes.
I know. I started out watching videos from the Raleigh tornado, and then I ended up watching a video about this girl who believes that she's been abducted and has birthed 10 hybrid alien babies. And there's like a whole secret program going on where other people are doing the same thing. But
You've been talking to my ex.
Did you see that video of that girl that was like really? She was like saying she gave 10 good reasons to have sex with your dog. Legitimately.
What?
Yeah.
All right,
look that up. It's on there. There's a girl. She was like.
I'm looking this shit up. I don't believe it. I don't know.
Do it right now, girl.
Here we go. I'm gonna broadcast this out. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna do that. YouTube is one hell of a place. I've been getting into Periscope. I posted a lot on Facebook. Periscope. Brian, it's your fault, by the way.
Yeah, good. You're welcome.
Yeah, because you posted up one day, oh, Periscope's so addicting, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll check it out. And now I'm following like a neuroscientist who like comes on, he talks about all kinds. It's just and Megan, you were telling me the other day that it's a way people actually stream sports through it.
Sports and concerts, yeah.
I feel as the resident. Well, I own a tech business. I'm like, why is Periscope a new thing for me? It almost seems like something that I'd want to do like something like this, but it's only single. You can't it's not like a conference call.
Exactly.
Right.
There you go, Periscope. There's your idea. I'm sure you're already working on it.
Another one that's good, Greg. I almost called you Jeff, but that's not your name at all. Another one that's good is Friend Life. That one will pay per
Friend Life.
Friend, like, hey, friendo, Friend Life, yeah.
Friendo? Wait. Let's roll this back a little bit. Let's do one by one here.
Friend Life.
Friend Life. And what's Friend Life?
It's another live broadcast media outlet. But that one you can make money on per viewers, per how long.
Oh, yeah.
Wait.
I saw this.
What is this?
Good.
I just saw it.
The Life of Friends.
I saw the dog.
Friend Life. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to check that out because.
Yes. Feel the force flowing through you, boy. I love it. I love it.
That's usually what I do. Is I'll live stream.
Why is it
both.
scrolling on its own? Stop it. Wait, it does that. You have to hover over it and it. Wait, what? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna get lost in that at some point.
Yeah.
It looks like late night's the time to log in.
Hey now.
And if you go to friendlife.com, you'll know what I'm talking about.
I always have like 10 essays that I'm building premises for in my head. And Periscope, I think, is like the beginning of our assimilation into the Borg, because it's like what it seems like is most of it is bullshit, right? I mean, it's like there's 3 or 4 things that are interesting or really compelling that you watch. I've seen some pretty incredible live things happen, guys threatening to jump off of roofs for 5 hours, or things happening on the streets with police riots. But most of it is like girls with low-cut tops just staring into a screen, having a conversation with about 100 people as if it was one person. That's what most of Periscope is.
So
right?
It's kind of like the what was it? The old stick.am that started off as like a free video broadcasting thing and turned into basically a cam chat kind of thing.
People just staring at themselves through a device, and they're just it's the abyss that Nietzsche talks about, staring into the abyss, and the abyss stares back at you. It's just, you watch Periscope, and it's just people staring into nothingness, and nothingness peering back, and it's almost like
maybe she's broadcasting some telepathic energies.
You could write an algorithm that just came up with Periscope things, and I promise you that most of the people that are on Periscope wouldn't know that they weren't talking to real people, which is what's the guy I'm thinking about, the British dude with the
who does what?
The test. The British dude with the test about whether it was artificial intelligence or not.
Oh, Turing.
Turing, right?
Yeah.
It's like the Turing test, right? Like, I bet you if you just wrote an algorithm for Periscope comments, the people watching and broadcasting themselves would just start talking to them, and they wouldn't even know that they weren't talking to real people. And you just get all of those people, and then you just sort of push them off the grid. You're like, hey, you guys just talk to this robot, we wouldn't have to deal with them anymore. And we just start humanity, just like, hey, you hook yourself up in this thing we like. It gives you everything. It gives you attention. It comments on how great your breasts look and bobs please and all of those things. And we just, hey, you guys go talk to this computer program and quit interacting with the rest of us. That's the beginning of Periscope. It's very uncomfortable.
Now you've ruined Periscope for me.
Yes, yes. It's just one step closer to the.
And you push me out all in the same
singularity. One step closer to the singularity.
I like it because I follow a lot of scientists. That's pretty much my thing. And these people who are going through school or just finishing school or doing research science, and I love that. You can, you go on and ask them, and sometimes they put on, like, ask me about addiction or ask me about this, and he's just going in there and talking about what happens in your brain and why this is different from that. And one day he came on after getting, I think, a root canal or something, not a root canal, but a filling, and he had Novocaine, and he explained how Novocaine works and why doing this doesn't actually help it just makes you look dumb. And, like, it's just... It's really funny and very intriguing, I think, about the things you can find on there. But clearly, I have been using Periscope wrong. I've been using it for.
It's just.
I need to go watch.
Weed and
I need to go stare at someone and see if we can have a staring contest without blinking or something, and hit the hearts. I don't like the hearts thing. That doesn't make any sense to me. Oh man, I love this so much. You are so awesome. Let me keep tapping your face. Like that part, I don't. That doesn't make any sense to me. They need to come up with a better mechanism. We are coming up at the top of the hour, and normally I like to kind of kick it around, and you know what we're gonna do? The normal thing. Brian, you're first up. Do you have anything you're promoting? Anything you're pushing on the masses these days?
Oh, plug-in shit? No. I tweet at Brian Parra, and I blog at brian-parra.com, and that's it.
Candace, what do you got going on these days? Promote your favorite charity.
I don't really have a charity.
In and Out promotions.
Yeah.
Five Guys promotions.
I'll promote the local roller derby because that's what I'm involved in.
The local what?
Roller derby.
Awesome.
Oh, right on. Is that is that seasonal, or is that kind of like something that people do on a regular? I haven't watched it. Are you Derby Darlings?
No, the West Coast Derby Knockouts.
West Coast Derby Knockouts.
Yeah, I'm a referee, so I have worked with the Derby Darlings, but I'm mainly in Ventura.
Oh, so you're a league employee kind of thing.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, sort
And right on. It's a volunteer, so.
Oh, right on. That's cool. When's the next game? Is the season started yet, or?
I think they're on a winter hiatus right now, so it'll probably start. I'm thinking either later in January or in February.
Right on. All right, Fernando, Fernie D. We can't hear you. Is this that
yes,
show?
That's how it works. I just realized that all four of us guys on the panel have beards.
Yay!
I would not call mine a beard. Mine's just I haven't. We went on a holiday break, and no, I actually always look like this. So,
hey, Greg, I'm actually glad to see your beard is making a reoccurrence.
No.
You looked like a child molester for a very long time.
Nothing will change that look, my friend. Nothing. No, I don't like it. It's
Thank
a
God.
thing, and I like the smooth sailing. I like to
Let's get Beth to weigh in on this.
Having
Let's
the
get Beth to
beard,
No, let's not do that.
having the beard, everyone always says that I look like Will Wheaton, so that's why I keep it.
Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton.
Are you still doing your show?
Whistling?
What are you acting in? What are you doing these days?
I just did a commercial not very long ago for Comcast's competition, which is Wave Broadband.
Are you like making a no big? You're like, commercials, Comcast, the biggest cable company in the nation. Whatever.
No, but it's awesome because that's all I've done, and like that's at a point. I'm at a point now where that's all I have to do is just work on film. Like I don't have. I'm lucky. At this point, after like 16 years, I don't have to have like a part-time or a full-time job. I can now focus on just my acting.
Dude, that's awesome. That's really cool to be the creative who's making it kind of thing, because often we hear about the starving artists. So
yeah.
So right on. When can we find your commercial?
You can I posted it on my Fernie D YouTube, Fernie D on my Facebook, Fernie D Twitter, Fernie D all social media, all of it, Periscope. So I do everything.
So for all the audio listeners listening to this now or in the future, it is FERNEEDEE on. You just Google it. I think Googling it is probably. That's what I keep telling people. Just Google one website. Just Google Untitled Personal Pod.
He knows Google. He knows everything. He does.
Megan.
My I guess would be for one website, please. We're doing a push for the new year. We're doing
Wait,
good.
who's one website, please?
Oh, I don't know. It's this weird company that I work for, maybe. That's weird.
What do they do?
Really awesome web development and web presence management stuff. I have a dog. Look at my dog.
And now we have a mascot.
We do. Look at that dog.
Where's my mascot? Cleo.
And Sawyer brought on as you.
Don't compete, Sawyer. Stop it, Sawyer. Stop it.
Oh, there's my baby. I love that dog so much.
Are you promoting your dog?
I'm promoting Megan's dog, actually. Oh, here's my dog. Come on, Cleo. Cleo's the spokesman for my company. Come on, up. There you go. Come say hi. This is Cleo. Cleo is 6 months old, and she's already a big girl.
That dog's getting huge.
Oh, she's my love. Yeah, she's about 60-some pounds right now, 6 months old, so she's getting pretty big.
And who's she mascot for?
She is the mascot for my company called FNG Precision Coatings, Foxtrot November Golf. We are on Instagram and Facebook, and what we do is we do artistic metal finishing, actually not on just metals, but on certain plastics as well. So our main market is the firearms industry, but we're looking to break into other
I got a question.
Well.
I got a question.
Ooh.
For you.
Go for it.
I just got a 3D printer. Can you do about PLA plastic?
Depends on what the melting point is on the plastic. I usually run around 220 degrees for about an hour.
Above. Oh yeah.
Well, I have other options that aren't heat activated, and we can talk about that offline. So I can help you out pretty much anything.
I'm actually quite surprised that Brian didn't talk about his 3D printer, but we're gonna have to come back next year. We'll talk about that. Well, we're gonna have I want to have a segment where you can talk about all the cool things. I want to know the first 10 things that you make with that thing, and then also
Brian, I want to make something with you. Let's do something together and make a collaborative project.
I'm 24 hours into it right now. I've printed my name and a dragon skull at the request of my child.
Have you hurt yourself yet?
What model did you get?
The Robo 3D Plus. It's pretty big, and I'm super excited about it.
What's the available space you can work with? Is it like a 12 by 12 workspace or? It's
slightly larger than that. I think I can go 10 inches tall. It's like 10 inches tall and like 9 by 8, I think, is the limitations.
We gotta bring in have some rapid prototyping that I might need to send your way soon, actually.
Let's do it. I'm super stoked about it.
I'm looking forward to talking about like having a segment where you can kind of like put it up, and like what you did for Cinchona is like kind of put in the back and show us, because obviously it takes a while, so we can't. I want to see it in action. I want to see these things go.
Here's a picture of my gun. You'll probably want to see this, right, Greg? Because this is part of it. So this is what we do.
So this
all this artwork on the gun. This is a typical gun. This is actually based off of the popular video game Titanfall. So we have the alien lettering done on the frame. If you go to our Facebook page or our Instagram page, you can see high-res, high-def photos, and we do stuff for like video game aficionados, people that just anything.
Is that FNG Precision? What is your Instagram? Because I know your Instagram is kind of where you're most active, right?
Yeah. Well, our Instagram page actually is the newest of our social media ventures, but the Facebook page has the most high-def and easily viewable photos, but Instagram is FNG_precision_coatings, and then if you go to just Google me and you'll find us.
Actually, when you type in FNG, the first thing FNGP. As soon as you type in FNGP, I'm up on Google.
We're almost there. We're almost
Look at
there.
you go.
No,
Yes.
We had a good month. This month we got 800 followers on Instagram, so this was a big jump for us. We picked up some big headliners as far as clients go. We have the pleasure of working with some of the big names in the industry, so it's been an honor, and we really enjoy it. So we're just looking forward to 2016 and going bigger and harder. You know, that's all you can do.
Speaking of which, for all those who are staying home on New Year's Eve and want to do the countdown, we can do the countdown with you. Are you guys ready?
That sounds like
I didn't
fun.
prepare it. None of these people are prepared for this at all. I'm just making this up right now. 10. That's it. See, no one. Happy New Year! I just wanted to do that. That's all I wanted to do.
Is that your preemptive celebration?
My life is now complete. With that, I want to thank Brian, Candace, Fernando, Megan, and Sawyer for joining us tonight on our 10th episode. The most hosts that we've had, the most live viewers we had, the most active chat that we've had today. We have a lot of good active people in chat today.
And
so
Coco,
thank you.
don't forget Coco.
Oh, and Coco and
What's the number, live viewers?
Well, it just dropped down to now. It's down to 1. Thanks,
You said
Brian.
something and it's gone.
It's gone.
Done.
No, I'm convinced that the live viewer part doesn't work live. I have to use. There's a analytics thing, but I can check that
It actually
later.
does. I can vouch for that because I know someone's watching live.
Yeah, I got people
oh.
blogging or pinging to me right now.
Yeah,
that they've been watching us, so
we're hot shit tonight. Look at us go.
all four of our followers.
Well, anyway, so for all of our viewers, all of our listeners, you can check us out every week, Wednesday, Pacific time, 7 p.m. We sometimes start a little bit late, but we try to start on time. And into the new year, we're going to constantly kind of progress in the technology we're using. We are going to start distributing this via iTunes when we start getting things all settled and we get our format all handled. So, episode 10 is this is a big milestone for all of us. Brian, you've been here every episode. Megan, you've been here for a few. Candace has been leading up chat. Fernando's been part of some of these before, and Sawyer's come in here before. So if you'd like to be on the show, you're more than welcome to come check us out on Facebook. You can just search Facebook for Untitled Personal Podcast Project. In that order, you will find us. You can always email me directly at greg@onewebsiteplease.com, which is what I'm promoting on this side. Oh, yeah, go mirror image. That looked weird. And anyway, so we just talk about all the latest stuff that's going on. We come out, pick up a community topic, and we look forward to seeing you all next week. Subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you then. Thanks all. Bye.
Bye.